It is the year 20XX. Thanks to the efforts of renowned robot designer Dr. Light, robots developed to assist mankind are commonplace. Then on one particular day, their objective shifts from assistance to annihilation. The robot masters, Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Elecman, have become dangerous enemies, and it is all thanks to the evil Dr. Wily, rival of Dr. Light. And so, as the great Bonnie Tyler once put it, I need a hero. And that, my friends, is where today's journey begins. Hi everyone, I'm RetroNate716, and thank you for checking out our video, a complete walkthrough of the NES classic Megaman. This game was the first concerted effort by Capcom to enter the console gaming market. Prior to this, their focus was primarily on creating arcade games. Megaman is the first in a long series of games in this franchise and features two unique gameplay traits. First, upon defeating a master robot, Megaman absorbs that master robot's ability and can fire a limited amount of newly acquired ammunition out of his M-Buster. And second, Megaman pays homage to the classic game Rock, Paper, Scissors, in that each master robot has a specific vulnerability. Knowing this and capitalizing on it is one of the more fun aspects of this game. So without further ado, let's begin our walkthrough of the NES classic Megaman. As we're getting started, a few quick reminders. One, if you like this video and find it at all helpful, please drop a like on it and leave me a comment, especially if there is something I missed. This will help others find the video on YouTube as well. 2, subscribing to the channel is much appreciated. Doing so will give you easy access to all future videos that I release, and you can turn on notifications so that you know the moment a new video drops. And lastly, I'll be providing some commentary throughout this video, as well as any tips, tricks, or insights that will help you complete this NES classic. To kick things off, I take on Bombman stage first. It's fairly basic, and able to be cleared with an M-Buster relatively easily. Keep in mind that I'm only going to show you the order in which I think you should take on the different stages, but you can complete these in any order that you want. I'm trying to make it as easy as I can by using each master robot's vulnerability in order to kind of maximize that benefit. You can also choose to play stages multiple times if you want to. Alright, and up here is our first Sniper Joe that we'll face. He can only get hit when he's shooting or jumping, so give yourself a little distance because you'll need to leap over his bullets that he fires at you in that spot. Also here, do not shoot the killer bombs if you can avoid it. They create a blast radius, and I've been knocked into these pits plenty of times by that. Best to just avoid them and move on. Alright, after this scene is the trickiest part of this level. You've got to really hustle to shoot the Mambu enemy before it fires, and then race across the spike pit. So, first take this one out, then get on that narrow platform, quick shot, and race. That part can take a little bit of practice, but that's the best success I've had getting across there without dying. Another Sniper Joe coming up here, guarding an extra life. You're definitely going to want to bank that. This is widely considered the most difficult Mega Man game in the franchise, and you won't want to leave those extra lives uncollected. One of the big keys to this game is patience too. The more you rush, the more you lose life. Alright, you can hop down the ladder on the right when these enemies clear and you're ready to take on Bombman. So he's pretty simple. He's just going to jump around the screen a few times and then stop to throw bombs at you. The easiest way to avoid the bombs that he fires at you is to jump away from them right before they hit, just like that. I don't do it perfectly here. I run out of some space. It can happen. You can get cornered a little bit. Just try to utilize the area of the screen that has the most space to give yourself the most room to avoid him. And after enough shots, he goes down pretty easily. All right, we're well on our way. Gutsman is up next, and he is susceptible to those bombs. So like I said, I'm just going to play these in the order that I believe the game devs probably designed it. Now this section can be difficult. I struggled with it myself. What you want to focus on is where the platform connects to the beam, and that is when you're going to time your jump. So right there, when that connecting arm comes in contact with the beam. If this part proves too difficult, you can wait until you have the magnet beam. You would just have to play through Elecman's stage twice, once to get his electric beam, and then once again to actually collect the magnet beam. And then you can create platforms to get over that section. Some health for your trouble, and then we're moving on to these guys. I just shoot and advance towards them. It's the technique that I kind of use here. But I don't rush through this one because I've fallen in that pit many times. Just take the damage. Now, there is an extra life in this section. I have a tough time getting into that little cove. If you have the magnet beam, you could probably grab it. But ultimately, it's going to mean fighting Elecman a couple of times to do that. I also just take the damage from Big Eye there. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can run under him when he jumps up real high. But for the most part, I just make sure that I only get hit once. And that should still leave me enough life. Okay, Gutsman is up next. Switch to the Hyper Bomb. The key here is timing your jump right before Gutsman hits the ground, because when he does, the stage shakes and then you're stunned for a little while. So if you can avoid that, it leaves you the opportunity to avoid the bricks that he throws at you. Just 3 bombs and he should be kaput. And there you go. We're making fine progress here. These score totals at the end, it was interesting as I was reading up on this game, that this is the only Mega Man that actually introduced a score feature, but it had no point. They don't award you extra lives or any benefit from attaining a score, so they did away with it in the future games, but just something that they included for some reason. I don't worry about killing all these enemies, just avoid them if you can. Those Bunby helis are very annoying. And in these next few screens, the whole point is to take out the enemies and hope they drop extra lives. Take your time, be methodical, watch the pattern. Pretty simple to do. Alright. I've seen so many people waste time on these. Just run past these super cutters. Alright. And now you're into another section of climbing, this time with these enemies that just move back and forth from wall to wall. Really predictable pattern. The key here is to take your time and don't take unnecessary damage if you can avoid it. And sure enough, I don't even listen to my own advice. Well, I got a little bit back there. If you do happen to take damage in this section, it's not the end of the world. There should be a health container coming up after this that you can replenish your life at. Oh, just like that. I'm definitely the guy you want to watch on how to beat this game, aren't I? Give advice one way and do it differently. There we go. Now this next section, the key to this is dropping down the ladders. If you do that and just continue running, you should avoid all of the bullets that come out of these two enemies. And you shouldn't even come near those spike pits. Another big eye, if I was smart, I would have switched to Gutsman here and thrown one brick at him. It should take him out if you do that, but ended up getting lucky and just taking him out with the M-Buster. Alright, Cutman is next once you clear this little walk up here. Cutman is susceptible to Gutsman's strong arm. Now, you have to be careful because there are only 2 bricks in Cutman's stage that you can use as weapons. But if you hit with both, that'll be enough to take him out. So don't rush through this. If you take a little damage, fine. But you definitely want to utilize those bricks effectively. And if you do, 2 shots and he's done. Very simple. Most of the trouble with this game is not in clearing the master robots, but if you are having trouble, hopefully this helps you. It generally resides on Wily's stage, which is admittedly very, very difficult. Alright, Elecman is up next, and we'll be taking out these first enemies with the rolling cutter that we just got. Makes it much, much easier to get through these platforms. The song in this level is definitely the one that I think of when I play this game. That's the one that rings in my ears. Alright, this room seems simple enough, but there are watchers that are on their way. There they are. You really don't want to let these things get a shot off. I like to just take out the ones on the left coming from the top and move on. And if you're lucky, you can do that without them getting a shot off, because climbing back up that section is not fun. Alright. The disappearing, reappearing blocks, another Mega Man staple that we have. If you watch the pattern, it's pretty basic, and you can go left or right here. Left would give you the ability to replenish some of your weapons, and right allows you to progress through the level. Do not bother with that health. Trust me, you will end up losing more lives trying to get out of that cove than you will save by gaining the health. Just move on. More watchers, take them out on the left and keep climbing. Alright, and we've arrived at the magnet beam. The Gutsman strong arm will be the thing that you'll need to access it. The magnet beam allows you to create temporary platforms, which comes in really, really handy the rest of the game. There are many areas going forward that become a lot easier because of that magnet beam. So it's not a required item for you to get in order to complete the game. It just makes it a lot more difficult. So I think this game's already tough enough. Don't do that to yourself. Get the magnet beam. If at this point, too, you didn't have Gutsman's ability, you could finish Elecman's stage, and electricity also takes out those bricks. The Thunder Beam does, so you have that ability too if you choose. Alright, and let's give you a little demo. See? Quick platform. Makes life a lot easier. Alright. And for here as well. All this pit, who cares? Skip over it. Okay, one more big eye to deal with. I think I tried to get cute and use the rolling cutter here to see if that would take him out. Spoiler, it didn't. So I'm about half-life here. Now, Elecman is not easy. He's very fast, and his attacks do a lot of damage. But if you can get this technique of attacking him with the rolling cutter, you can take him out generally without taking damage or maybe only one hit. As soon as the battle starts, you fire a cutter to the right, because he's standing behind you typically when you enter the room. If the closer you are to him, the better, because when you hit him, he'll recoil, and then when that cutter comes back to you, it'll hit him again. I think I pull it off in this run through here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. See, 1, 2. So those 2 shots, it only takes 3 total to get them. If you can get 2 right away, that's a huge advantage. Now, I got hit. I was nearly dead after just that 1 attack, despite having almost half power. So don't take him lightly, but the rolling cutter should do him in. Or should I say, lights out? Sorry about that. Iceman is up next. 2 more to go. We're making fabulous progress. These things are called, and I kid you not, Crazy Razies. That is their name. Don't bother hitting their body. Just shoot 1 between the eyes and it'll do them in. If you take out their body, their top half detaches and it torments you just like it did to me back there. This section, as long as you keep a steady stream of bullets going, you should be able to keep most of these little penguin propellers at bay. And then just quickly jump out of those pits that have the other enemies. Alright, now as is customary for games at this time, icy stages mean that you continue to propel forward even after you stop running. So you're going to have to deal with the slipperiness of the stage. But the way that I do is just jump up and down, straight up and down like that, if I need to stop my momentum. Alright, quick switch to Thunderbeam to take out that enemy, and now we have more disappearing and reappearing blocks. Relatively simple pattern. I would recommend don't use your magnet beam on this area, or the next if you can avoid it, because you want to save it for the giant pit we're about to come up to. I use a little one here to save some time, and then this is where I would just lean on the magnet beam. I have no desire at all to engage with these 4 floating platforms. Go down, recharge, maybe take a hit or 2. It's not the end of the world if you do. But you want to get out of here unscathed as far as lives go. Do not waste an unnecessary life on that section if you can avoid it. Alright. Moving along well here on this run. I was pretty proud of this, putting it together. I thought I did a decent job. And then Big Eye. Ooh, and I snuck under him. Got lucky. I don't think there's a predictable pattern with the types of jumps that Big Eye does, whether they're low or high. So you just gotta hope that you can get through without losing too much life. So Iceman is susceptible to the Thunderbeam that we just got from Elecman. The tip here is not to fire right away. Actually let Iceman jump first, and then once he does, if you fire 3 times, that should be all you need. Boom. 1, and then you get that classic NES lag from too much stuff on the screen, and then he's done. You still have to jump over his little ice slashers that he fires at you, but he is pretty simple. Alright. 1 more Master Robot to go, and we definitely saved the toughest for last. Fireman is, not only is he the most difficult Master Robot, his stage is easily the most difficult as well. We don't want to take him lightly here. There is a lot going on in his stage. But take a look at this, walk through and see kind of how I handle it. I'm sure there are probably more efficient ways to handle it, which is one of the beautiful things about Mega Man, is that there is no one-size-fits-all for how to get through a game because of the different weapons that you get and the way that you can utilize them. Alright, now over the next few scenes here, I think my recording quality actually kind of dips down a little bit. Thing you gotta realize, when you use those ice slashers on the fire blocks, they'll freeze those fire blocks, but they will also freeze those little fireballs falling from the ceiling. And if you do, you can still get attacked by them when they're frozen. So you will need to be very careful and take your time in this area as you go through. Right. A couple weapon replenishment. Yeah, as you can see, I'm starting to lose some of the pixels and sections here. So those fireballs go up in the air, but you actually don't see them fall down, only in pieces. But again, if you use the ice on them, they're going to freeze in place and then you can't advance. So you have to be judicious with how you use that ice slasher in this level. I got very lucky there that I got hit into a platform instead of falling into the lava. Lava is an instant kill in this level, so do not take it lightly. Take your time in this section. If you don't have the path forward, do not rush it and try to get in there quickly. Again, I got very lucky that I got hit into that fire block instead of back into the lava. Now, for the life of me, I have played this game dozens and dozens of times. I do not know if it's possible to get through this section without the magnet beam if you don't want to take damage. So, I use a magnet beam, and I saved my life. More of these bullet bill type things that explode. Keep your distance to make sure you don't get hit by that blast radius, but switching to Thunder Beam here helps you take out the enemies that are kind of motoring, the little Roombas motoring along the ground there. Definitely fill up your ice here too. That is what you're going to need for Fireman, and we're coming up on him now. You will have the ability to potentially get a drop or two for ammo in this next little lead-up section. Now, Fireman is going to take the most attention, or the most number of hits, from your special weapon than any other boss prior has. I think it takes 7 shots with ice to kill him. So, and he tends to fire as he is hit. So the strategy here is to hit him and then try to leap over the projectiles that he fires back at you. You want to time your hits so that you're not hitting him multiple times and dealing with lots of his fire coming at you. As you can see, I'm just trying to make sure that timing-wise, I'm getting enough shots off to take care of him. And as long as you don't get caught in a loop of getting hit by his attacks, you should be able to clear him. And look at that. We are done with the 6 master robots and moving on to Dr. Wily. Once you're done with all 6, he'll appear in the middle. And as a fun little note, his clear points are always 200,000. The others are random between 50,000 and 100,000. But again, like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter. Alright, Wily's first stage, you're going to encounter a series of big eyes here. I use the ice beam because now you can freeze them in midair, so when they jump up high, I just like to hit them at the peak of their jump and then scoot under them. I don't have any Gutsman blocks to use here, so this is the technique that I like to use. And if you're really lucky, which I was here, even if they jump low, if you get them at the peak, you can still sneak under them without losing damage. Now, one of the unique features about playing through Dr. Wily's stages here, there are 4 of them, but you do not replenish your special ammunition between stages like you did with the Master Robots. So whatever you use from here on out, as far as your weapons go, is going to carry over from stage to stage. That's a very big difference from how this game starts, and you'll want to take note of that when you're looking at your levels from here on out. Don't bother going up here, it's just a decoy. Take the bottom path and continue forward. I hate this part, but I ended up having a decent hand where I could just make that jump without dealing with that bullet. If you need the magnet beam, go right ahead. You certainly want to use it for this section, which is just not at all worth trying to tackle without it. I take some damage early, but it really doesn't matter. I'll use as much magnet beam as necessary because, and there's a little hack here, those 2 little ammo fillers that I just collected, if you go up the ladder like I am now and then immediately back down, they will reappear. So you can use this as a stop to refill all of the ammo that you might have lost. I think at this point I fill up the magnet beam and then maybe one on the Gutsman strong arm, but I don't really need Gutsman strong arm for a while, so I'm not going to waste the time to fill it up now. Now one more screen here of magnet beam trickery, and then we are going to approach what might be the most dastardly boss of Mega Man, and that is the Yellow Devil. The Yellow Devil is, a lot of the time when I talk to people about Mega Man and where they can get to, it's this boss. So what he does is he moves himself from one side of the screen piece by piece, and your job is to jump over the pieces as they approach. Now there is a key spot when he's moving. It's always the same pattern for him, but there is a key spot when he's moving side to side that you're going to want to note. There is a spot right here where it goes low and high. There's a piece that travels along the ground and then a piece that comes in at Mega Man's head's level. You want to jump forward instead of straight up and down at that point, right there. And if you do that, that's going to save you a lot of health that you otherwise would lose. As you can see, when he fully assembles on one side or the other, an eye appears, and that's when you want to attack with the Thunder Beam. This level and this boss is solely about patience and precision. I think easily the most challenging boss of the game, and if you can get through this, the rest is going to be just fine. But even as you see, as many times as I've played this, the precision it takes to jump over all of the pieces of him moving from one side is very, very difficult. So it may take a few attempts, but as soon as you do that forward jump, that's always the part that I see people getting stuck at, is that forward jump over the low and then high piece. And I think it's 7 shots, and then Yellow Devil is done. More points that don't matter, and we are moving on to Wily Level 2. And we have no replenished weapons, and now we gotta face another stinking hard level. Of Wily's levels, I think this is the most difficult, but the boss is not. Even though the boss I still find to be pretty challenging if you don't get into a nice pattern. But these areas here, these Bumby Hellies, do not waste your time. Now, I've heard that the fire attack is good for that too, because it creates a little barrier around you. I didn't use it there. I probably could have. Any chance you get, make sure that you recharge your Thunder Beam too. That is the most used weapon in these Dr. Wily levels. All right, we're up to Cutman, but unfortunately we don't have Gutsman blocks to throw at him, so you're left with just your M-Buster. But he recoils, and it actually does a decent amount of damage to him, so as long as you just hop over his scissors and kind of keep in mind, that it's coming back to him after, you can normally avoid him pretty well. But it's M-Buster for Cutman there. I do use the Thunder Beam here to take out these little enemies on the platforms below. If you just run up right next to them and fire, you should avoid their shots and take them out in one hit. And I missed it because of the false floor. Elecman is next, so I gotta switch to my rolling cutter. Again, try to get close, fire it, and then when it recoils back to you, it hits him again, which is great. Got through him without being touched there. This section I don't even mess around with. You got bombs that are going to come out of these pits. It's very, very difficult to find the spot that is safe among them. And I just don't want to mess around with these pits taking a life that I'm going to need later. So I use the Magnet Beam here. There's no harm in doing so. And no spot coming up anytime soon where you need to have it. And for your work so far, you get yourself a free extra life. So I guess what I'm saying is save at least one Magnet Beam for this. It's nice to get. Now, we're on our way to the second boss now of Wily's second stage. As you see, you can use the Thunder Beam to take out some of these enemies that are below you, because it shoots in 3 directions. One thing you may want to note here, though, we do have a big ammo replenishment coming up, which will help you if you need to replenish your Thunder Beam at that point. But you're going to want to take note of anytime you fight one of these bosses, how much life do you have? Because ammo doesn't replenish between. So if you don't have the amount of ammo, if you don't have the amount of life to take on a boss and then you use half of your ammo, you're just setting yourself up when you have full life to not have enough to fight him again. So really, you want to take stock of how much life you have and how much ammunition you have before you decide whether you're going to go full go at a boss or if you're going to save it, maybe die out and wait until you have full life. That's kind of where I'm at here. My life is pretty low because I took some stupid damage earlier. So I basically decide here I'm going to give it a try on the clone, but I'm not committed that if it doesn't go well early, I'm just going to die out and try again. So we'll see what happens here early. But Thunderbeam is definitely what you're going to want to use on the clone. But as you see, I think right here, he gets in close, and I can't get him off me, so I just decide to die. And it's better that way. I'd rather save my Thunderbeam till later, go in with enough to take him out, and worry about it after. So, now that I have full life, I'm ready to take on the clone fully. We are going to switch to Thunderbeam. Now, his pattern is such that when you fire at him, he jumps. So what I do is do a quick jump and shoot with the Thunderbeam, and because of the width of the bullet, it covers the area that he jumps to. So if you jump and shoot quickly, he'll recoil, as you can see here. And then, if you time it right, where you're hitting him each time that he jumps, you really can't get another shot off. And you can get him into a nice pattern and take him out pretty easily. But if you don't get him into that pattern, he can wreak havoc for a while. So just be conscious of how much life you have and how much ammo you have of deciding to commit to that strategy or not based on how it goes with it. So we're halfway through Wily now. The clone and the Yellow Devil are defeated. The next stage is fairly simple and gives you a chance to recharge a lot of your weapons. So this is a nice little breath of fresh air here. You drop down a few screens with some familiar enemies, ones that you've already taken out before. Just be conscious of some of these ones up top. Like I said, you will be able to replenish, and that includes life, but there's no sense in taking damage unnecessarily. So take your time going through these. I definitely don't do a particularly good job of doing that through these screens. So do as I say, not as I do, or not as I show on this video. Okay, once you do get through those screens, you're going to come to this long tunnel where water is going to come up behind you. Now, you don't even have to keep walking to progress. The water is pushing you along. And if you keep a steady stream of bullets going, this is where you can farm for all your refills. So when they do drop an ammo refill, run backwards so you can switch to the right weapon and then refill your ammo that way. It takes a little bit of practice to get the timing of it, but once you do, it's a nice little spot. And you will want to make sure that you have enough Gutsman strong arm for at least 4 block throws. It's probably like 2/3 of the meter. Because in the upcoming boss, you're going to want to use that. Other than that, Thunderbeam is what you want to recharge. Now we get to the exploding ones. That's definitely why you don't want to run, because that blast radius will take out damage unnecessarily. Couple of health fills. Alright, feeling pretty good. So this boss is a series of 7 different robots that are covered in bubbles. But you can take 4 of them out with the Gutsman strong arm and those 4 blocks in the middle of the room. So you only have to take out the other 3 with your own weapons. Now, I decided to be stupid and use my M-Buster instead of just using electricity, which I think takes it out in 1 or 2 shots. But you'll see here that the M-Buster is fine. They just follow a pattern of circling the room and they fire little bubbles at you. And as long as you avoid those and get through 3 of these, you can switch to Gutsman Strong Arm and take out the last 4. Now, they progressively get faster, which is why I will take out the first 3 with my M-Buster. Oh, I am dangerously low on health right now. Taking stupid damage here. But do manage to get through because of the Gutsman strong arm. But the reason I take out those first 3 with the M-Buster is because they get progressively faster, and I don't want to have to take those out when they're more difficult. 3 levels down and 1 to go before our final confrontation with Dr. Wily. Now, don't race up these platforms. I forgot almost. Watchers are coming, and they will knock you into that pit as soon as look at you. So take them out first, even if you take a little damage. But don't risk losing a life unnecessarily. More watchers, but a lot easier to handle in that screen. A little refill here. The technique I use is the magnet beam. As you can see, it's just kind of in a dastardly spot there, so you got to use 2 of them. And then I want to refill my thunder beam here, but even if at this point you're running low on ammo in a variety of different areas, there is good news coming. There is a full ammo refill coming up at the end of this level before we get into the bosses. Rolling Cutter does really well on these enemies here if you just jump and fire it out. As you can see, takes them out relatively easily. And now we are getting to the point where you will need some magnet beams. So if that was low, use that replenishment earlier in this stage on that, but you're going to want to use that upcoming here. 1 jump onto the platform, and then fire that beam so that you can run across. Now, you can also stay on the platform. If you're able to, jump back on that platform as it's going to the right, great. If not, just let it go back through. Wait until it comes back from the left to the right, and you're going to want to ride it all the way to the right to pick up the little Shoryuken there, which is a full ammo replenishment of all of your weapons. And then, as you ride the platform back to the left, you get the extra life, use the magnet beam, hop on the ladder, and suddenly you've got full ammo of everything. Now, you're going to take on the last 4 master robots you haven't faced a second time. First is Bombman. When we faced him the first time, we did it with our M-Buster, but he is actually susceptible to the fire attack that you got from Fireman. So I think it's 7 shots with that, and he is done. Now, you're going to need to take out 4 of these robots on a single life tank. So really be clean with the way that you approach these, and it's not fun doing Fireman. He's going to be the one that you're going to take the most damage on, most likely. But really try the best you can to do these as cleanly as you can, because you've got to take out 4 in a row. And if you die during the process, you have to start back at the beginning again. Again, wait till Iceman jumps, then 3 thunder beams, and he should be out. Also, make sure to jump over his ice bullets after you kill him. They don't disappear. Last is Gutsman. Remember, the timing of the jump is the key. When he hits the ground is when you need to jump so that you're not stunned. Now, he starts coming at me. This part I actually hate, when he starts jumping at me in a battle like this, because I have nowhere to go. But he does back off at one point, and that's all I needed. So, pretty good pass through those 4 bosses, or 4 master robots there. And now we are approaching Wily. Now, there are a couple of different techniques to beating Dr. Wily. He attacks in 2 stages. The first phase of his ship is one where he just kind of fires ammo out of a front-facing gun right there, as you can see. The M-Buster, for me, is actually the cleanest way to take this out. And again, because my recording quality, you're not quite seeing all of the bullets that he's firing, but you just want to kind of weave in and out in between the space that, you know, those bullets come in at an arc, and you can just kind of duck under them. And once you've taken out at full life, you have to let all the exploded pieces leave the screen before you can change weapons. And this is a technique that actually my cousin taught me when I was young and playing this game, is that if you position yourself right in front of Wily's ship. Now, I don't know what I was thinking here, and I ended up getting behind him. Now I'm in deep, deep trouble. I can't get back without taking damage, and I decide I can't waste all this thunder beam. I gotta stop this. So I try to take him out with the M-Buster, and then I get killed by one of his projectiles. But what you want to do in that section, there is a space in front of Wily's ship on that second phase where you can stand and the projectiles kind of loop around you. I think I model it in this next attempt of where you need to stand. And it's very precise, so this could take some practice. This is why you bank as many extra lives as you can throughout the course of the walkthrough, because it is difficult. There's no doubt about it. Also, I think here I was trying to experiment whether there was a more efficient way to take out his gun, and so because I hadn't read up on it yet, and I realized after the fact there really isn't. M-Buster is probably it. The rolling cutter seems to hit him a couple of times in a row, but it's very tough for me to control. I just don't have a lot of practice with it, so eventually I realized I'll just put this away and try it with the M-Buster. And since I've already taken so much damage, I basically decide, all right, I think on this attempt I'm just going to practice being in the right spot for the second phase. So I did get to the second phase. I don't think I'm going to win. I don't think I have a very good chance of doing so. But what I want to do here is just practice being in that spot where you don't get hit. So as you see there, you know, these projectiles come out. You're kind of seeing them in patches, but they will loop under the floor and not hurt you. So if you're standing in that front section of his ship when he decides to fire, that will be how you can avoid it. So I thought, okay, I've practiced. I feel confident now. Let's just, give it a shot, see if I can attack him now. And sure enough, first attack I get killed. But now I've practiced the spacing. Now I've practiced, I know that I don't want to use anything other than the M-Buster on the first section. And I think now I am geared up and ready to go. 2 lives left. I shouldn't need both. Time to take out Wily. Pretty clean start here. And it's right at this point, I think right around here, that I start to get a little flustered. I'm trying to rush things. You can see a double jump there instead of taking my time. And now I've taken 3 unnecessary shots and just not taking my time. And that, as I said earlier in this video, that is the biggest key to this game, is being patient and being methodical. Because, a couple of pixels left or right and it can eat you up. So I've got a decent position now, but I take another damage on a projectile. I'm still committed to trying to use that Thunder Beam to take him out. As you see, as the Thunder Beam shoots up, it takes out, it takes some damage on his ship. It allows me to stay on the floor, but I am getting hit way too often by these projectiles. I get a nice little pass here. Ready to go. 2 more hits. Oof. And pain. Anyone who's played old NES games knows the pain of being that close. So now I'm in shambles. I don't have enough Thunder Beam to take him out with that strategy. I banked it here. I've got 1 life left. 1 life to live. I've got to try this the best I can. I got to just have a cleaner approach to this. So we switch back to the M-Buster. And we're going to try to do this a little bit smarter. Oh, and not off to a good start. But I start to get the rhythm now. And I start to get the pattern. And once you've played it with enough repetitions, it starts to become more familiar. As it is with a lot of these NES games, the strategy of get good remains undefeated. At this point, I think I'm debating whether I want to use the Thunder Beam or not. While I'm thinking about it, I take a shot to the forehead with his ship. But then I realize if I just do the M-Buster in between shots, it allows me to hold the position a little bit easier. And I might even be lucky enough to hit him twice every time I leap. And as you see, I get into a nice little rhythm. I'm avoiding these projectiles. It's starting to look like it might happen. Oh, I got a little greedy. I tried to hit him twice in a row with jumps, and now do I go electric? No, I'm sticking with the lady I brought to the dance. Come on, it's the M-Buster. And 1 more shot. That's all we need. And there we have it. Oh, the satisfaction that I used to get when I would beat an NES game, and the music would change, and the tone and tenor would change, and you knew that you had finally completed the game. And you were going to see some postscript of what happened, you were going to see some credits, and you were going to get a completion to the story. Ugh, there was nothing like beating an NES game when I was growing up. Hopefully you get some of that same sense here, as hopefully, with help of this tutorial, you were able to finish Mega Man and cross it off of your bucket list of NES games that you wanted to complete. Thanks so much for watching our video. Again, I'm RetroNate716. If you're able to and you found this video helpful, please drop it a like, leave us a comment on something maybe that you liked, that you didn't like, or maybe something that we missed. And as always, feel free to subscribe to our channel for easy access to future walkthroughs that we do, and turn on those notifications so that you'll know the moment a new video drops. I really appreciate you guys joining us, and now, because you've earned it, enjoy the ending of Mega Man.